How to live with fear-mongering stress-free. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding how to live with fear-mongering stress-free in today's chaotic world. Hey, it's Todd Nanner, and welcome to another webcast from LifeQuest Institute, your guide to the new earth. So let us give a little context for today's episode. No doubt the world is a bit upside down lately. What to do, how to keep up. Where do we get information? But not just any information. With all the fake news, where do we seek real, truthful, updated information? And when do we hear, see, read about the latest news? How do we digest it in a way where we intuit with less fear and stress? This webcast is not a conversation about doom and gloom. Now more than ever, it's important to put on your super sleuth hats.
I'm going to ask you to say that
right.
fast five
3
times.
Use your intuition and tap into your gut instinct. By the end of this video, you will learn how to live with fear-mongering stress-free. So let's jump right into it, Anna. Yes.
Always good to be here.
Oh, good.
Yep. I love this video. It's kind of simple.
Yes.
It's simple, but some really good points to it.
Yeah, it'll be
So to start, let's consider a couple of things. One of the things that I recognize, especially on Facebook, because that's where a lot of the give and take happens,
right,
that the headline kind of is that gotcha grabber, kind of like you're like, oh, you know, just something that gets you to have that emotional response.
Right.
And it doesn't match up. Does it match up to the real article if we bother to open the article? So it's more than just reading the headline.
Right.
If you think you got the whole context by just reading the headline,
no,
chances are not.
It could be buried in the story. There's many different ways of how they fabricate these headlines.
Yeah, it could be the last sentence.
Yes. And the whole story is actually against the headline. Then they'll have that little truth.
Too. Yeah.
Right.
So definitely open the article, whatever it is. You have to open up the article, the video, whatever it is, to determine if it's valid or not. So that's a very important part of being stress-free due to certain types of fear-mongering. So you want to be careful of what is called clickbait. And that's when they gotcha. That just because if you do open it, I don't know, somehow they make money. I mean, because the bottom line is always about making money.
The clicks, right. So you want to know who published it.
Yeah.
Right. You know, look for, is it a hoax? Is it satire? Is it an ad? Is it all caps? You know, you want to search where the headline, when you follow it back to the site, does it have validity? You know, notice the published date. Is it current?
Another important thing is whatever picture they have with it, does it line up with the headline? Because a lot of time the picture is an old picture. Somewhere they got it somewhere else. It has really nothing to do with the headline.
Right.
So another way, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. All right. So keeping that in mind, also notice the sensationalism. You know, is there a quote? Again, the picture. Are they related? Is it really congruent? All these little things are the real red flags to be aware of and to be watchful for, because it's going to just try and get you to be into that fear monger space. So watch for the bias. Is it real journalism? Are they giving you facts? Are they giving you real truthful information? You're going to know by your gut instinct.
Absolutely.
Your intuition. Are they preying on your emotions, looking for the clicks?
Right.
So if it's all about the clicks, just know it's about the money, about staying on air, because that's a whole nother algorithmic thing that they got going about being popular or the best or, you know, news source.
Right.
And how it's kind of like you have to ask yourself what emotions are being tugged at. You know, like you want to pull out the violin and, you know, feel so bad for whatever the context is.
And I guess what they're always trying to do too, because once you start noticing headlines and different media, you understand that they're all trying to create a narrative. You always want to watch what the narrative is. And is the narrative actually fact or is it fiction? Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, no, then I was going to say, it doesn't matter what's being thrown at you, actually, because think of a beach ball and of energy, and they're throwing it at you. That's a stimulus, and then you can respond. How are you going to respond? Do you want to catch the beach ball, or do you want to just let it go by you? See, if you respond to those headlines, so that the stimulus and your response, but there's always time in between stimulus and response, how you choose to react to that headline.
So I watched what your body just did. You need to show that again. So the ball is either coming at you, boom, or you pivot to the side and
let it go by.
Because I saw that's what you did.
Right.
So I think a key word to what you just said, though, is the narrative. There's always an agenda. Like what is the narrative right now? Is it attached to an older narrative, or is this a new narrative? Again, red flags.
Right, and are they trying to swerve your outlook or your perspective of the world with their narrative?
Yeah, feeding little breadcrumbs.
Right.
All right, so now what? How do we put all these pieces together?
Okay, so keeping these points in mind, now comes the discerning part. You may find this portion, of the webcast out of your comfort zone. So, well, first of all, what I did years ago was cut your cable. Get rid of the cable news. It's none of it's good. Go out, jog, walk, start exercising. Because there's a reason why they call it a television program, and we all kind of know it. They're trying to program your mind with their narrative. So you want to be able to look outside and look at everybody's, not saying this side has the right narrative or this side, but at least you can see all the narratives kind of coming at you and then weigh them.
I like the way that you said cut.
Right.
He didn't do that. I mean, he maybe pulled the plug or canceled it, but it wasn't a cut.
Right.
He still wants you to go sideways.
Okay, so you want to learn to, help yourself, learn to be self-directed, right? Go with your gut instinct, use your intuition. Your higher self or your spiritual self is always trying to guide you to make those right, steps in life. You want to be responsible how you feel. Don't have, you don't want to give your responsibility away because you think of the news. The news is all, right? It's just bad, bad, bad. Then at the end, they give you the happy feeling. So you come back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and watch it again, right? So find inner peace, keep yourself calm, and try to look for other news. Don't really just follow one news. Because there's so much fake news out there that you really have to get a handful and find out what's what.
Well, I want to really encourage individuals to seek it, search out some different sources.
Right.
YouTube has got a lot of individuals who are doing true journalism, which seem to go out with the bathwater.
Right, and then what you want to look for too, even with that, even on like on the front of YouTube's homepage, that's kind of all. It's kind of what they want you to watch and what
you gotta dig.
You really got to dig for anything to find, the truth of anything. So, and many people just aren't accustomed to being self-directed, right? They don't know how. Many are too comfortable with the structure that they create in their lives. They turn on at 6 o'clock. They watch their news from their regular news organization. Well, maybe a news organization is trying to create a narrative to swerve your mind, your thinking, to their way of thinking.
I can tell you, Todd, too, that when you start digging deeper, those postage stamp size, as they line it up on the homepage on YouTube as an example, it'll start to change because the algorithm will draw from, right?
Yes.
You know how that works a little bit?
Yeah.
So then what happens is you will automatically start getting other alternative news medias in kind or in like with the ones that you've been digging for that have more information of opposite information even, which is maybe you want to start looking at that. You want both.
Right.
You want both so you can discern. This is oh, here's you start collecting the names of the individuals that you really like that go in with. I had some doubt there, and this guy, this gal, she's kind of pinpointing.
Validated.
Yes,
Yes.
validated. Yeah. So another thing to ask yourself: does the fear and the stress kind of keep you so busy that you don't even focus? You don't even focus on your day's agenda, your day's focus of what you have to do, because you have it at the back. It gives you like agita, it just makes you nervous, and so watch out for it. If it's sensationalism, could be a sign. I'm gonna say it could. It's not a sign, but it could be, and that's what you. So if you're kind of like, oh, notice how you respond to it. Like, oh my, like if you're clutching your heart, it's like, oh my. Wait a minute, I think this is fake, So spot it. Ultimately feel it. What do you feel? Ask yourself, what do you feel? Fear to amazement. I mean, the spectrum goes way out.
Right.
So it might not be fear mongering, but it might be fake news.
Right.
So the other thing is be aware of what might be too good to be true. That's another thing to watch for. But in the end, as Todd said, learn to help yourself, be self-directed, be responsible how you feel. It's up to you to soothe yourself and find that inner calm. So,
right. And like you were saying earlier, you really do have to get out there and start searching on your own. You got to take that initiative to at least do that. Don't just sit there and wait for the news to come to you, because that's what they're hoping you're going to do. So you really got to get out and start reading different authors and different organizations. There's new ones that are popping up. And in time, the organizations that keep on putting out fake narratives, fake news, all that, in time, people will just stop watching it. And, they'll go to, it is happening. Yeah. But I know we're talking to a very large spectrum.
Yeah, of those people who do and those who don't.
Right.
But let's give an example of how to search. Because when you hear something that feels a little bit off, your flags are going up, take the keyword, take that narrative, search it. You can even search it on Google.
Yes.
You can search it on YouTube.
Yes.
Like you can put those words on YouTube and stuff will come up, and then you have a whole list of other people that are talking that same. It's the narrative. It's what's popular right at the moment.
Right. And then the thing with YouTube, they are, what do you want to say, stamping down? Censoring. So anybody that speaks against the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, I know we were brought up to trust these organizations, and now when people speak out against them, they're getting censored. So you got to ask yourself why? Why would they censor, right? Because who's in control of the censorship, right? Yeah. So you got to start asking these questions to yourself. And I know you've been brought up to trust certain individuals, certain news organizations, certain organizations. And the whole thing about the shift in consciousness is to bring the veil down. So now we see the truth behind these organizations. And that's going to be a process that you want to be on the cutting edge of, right?
Yeah, definitely. And when you say all that, just know most recently, a lot of platforms, in particular Twitter, YouTube, that I know of, where they're gone. They just took them down because they're telling probably some other kinds of truths behind their narratives that they don't want you to know about.
Right. So now they're being censored.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the trust. There's most likely, we're talking years ago, that we could trust. Right. They didn't have such an agenda like they do now. So
right. Well, they had an agenda, but at that time, it was that mission creep. They were just creeping, putting the tentacles. And now we're at the point where they're going full court press, and who are they?
Who are they?
right. We won't go into all that. But
another video.
Yeah, it's another video. Mm-hmm. So you just know there's narratives being created out there to lead people like sheep to a certain destination.
The other thing just came to me.
Yes.
If you feel a flag and then you go tell your good friend or your relative, family member, your sister, brother, and they're like, what? You might want to go,
Right.
You might be on the other narrative, which is, and because a lot of people don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They don't want to look, they don't want to see it. It's coming. It's coming. Either way, it's coming.
Right, because they're calling, right, you could almost think of, it's almost like the sheep are going, and then they look at you like you're the conspiracy theorist, but they're being led, and they don't even realize they're being led. That's what, it's such an upside down world.
Well, the thing is, we've all been. We're there. We are that until we're not that anymore. Right. And we're getting less and less. People are what they're calling, a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people aren't taking that anymore. They're done with it. It's like, I get it.
Yes.
It took me a while for that cosmic 2x4 to crack me over the head, but I got it.
Right. So, and this is only, and we'll end it at this, but this is only the beginning aspect of the shift, right? So this is all the darkness coming up, all the corruption, all that. So that's why we're teaching discernment and recognizing narratives and what are narratives, and it's really just to lead your thinking a certain way. And we were all asleep to it, and individuals are waking up one by one. So more people are coming together and exposing the fake narratives. So you got to be on the lookout for that. Don't just shoot somebody down going, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Really look into what they're trying to show you. Have an open mind, I guess.
Open mind, and also understand that when you use your intuition, when you use your gut instinct, that you are drawing from your inner self. You mentioned it before, your powerful self. You're drawn from their inner spirit. So ask questions. Ask your questions, and an answer will pop up.
Excellent. Right.
Yeah, no, this is a really good video.
Yeah. All right. Good show, Anna.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're seeing this video and you're not part of our private Facebook group, then you should check out our tribe. We have over 26,000 plus awakened individuals getting together and growing themselves over in our Awaken to the Shift group. We encourage you to connect with like-minded individuals. We have an excellent webcast on how to do that called Simple Strategies to be an Effective Way Shower. You may be interested in. Chances are many of your friends and family could use some direction in these times on how to cope with the life changes that they are experiencing too. So be sure to share this webcast. If you find this webcast to be valuable and would like to find out more, find the video tab on the left side of the Awaken to the Shift group or our LifeQuest Institute page.
On Facebook.
Right. All right. Okay, Anna.
I went like this, though, because they say way shower, or way shower. Right. So I get all mixed up. But whatever it is, you're sprinkling information on people. So go out there and be a way shower. Show the way.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Any last words, Anna?
Of course. Create a great day.